TA. Whenever I want to get all the ins and outs of what's going on in wrestling, I listen to InYourHeadOnline.com.
All right, we are back, and we're joined by Jackie Crockett. I want to welcome you to In Your Head.
How y'all doing?
Good, thanks. How you doing tonight?
Great. It's good to talk to y'all.
Yeah, it's good to have you on here. If anyone wants to call in, we said the number earlier. It's 508-644-8503. You can call in and ask Jackie Crockett a question about his time in wrestling, and I'm sure he'll give you a good answer.
Yeah, I've never given an interview where I didn't kayfabe people.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to bring up. Was it hard for you, like, because you grew up in wrestling? That, like,
yeah.
When wrestling started to, become more open, when the fans, kind of knew what was going on?
Oh, yeah, in elementary school, I always had kids, oh, yeah, fake, wrestling's fake and stuff. And, I tried to ask my father about it, and he said, no, it's not. He kayfabed me until I actually went to full work for the company full-time.
Mm-hmm.
And, after that, people would ask me about it, I'd say, well, it's sort of like, for those who believe, no explanation is needed. For those who don't believe, no explanation will do.
Right.
I mean, so there's no reason to argue about it. I'd have these people come up, and, doctors and lawyers and stuff. And, oh, your business is fake. And I said, yeah, and you're a quack. And people talk about, golf is the only pure sport. And I tell them, well, you ever heard the Las Vegas Open where the amateurs go out and the companies buy their contracts? And they got to do what the company does. Oh, they all get mad at me. So.
Right.
Yeah, I was a real hit at the party.
They don't like when you give it back to them.
No.
Do you think wrestling is better or worse, like, that when the fans know the words like kayfabe and heel and babyface and...
No. It takes the mystery out of it.
Yeah.
Before, we were a family company, and we ran it with that in mind. We wanted Ma, Pa, and the kids and Grandma to be able to sit down and, watch the show and be able to enjoy it. You've got good against evil, and eventually good always wins out. But evil always gets his turn every now and then.
Mm-hmm. No.
But it's just, you have a close finish in the middle of the ring, and everybody, oh, well, this guy could have won, or that guy could have won. You got the rematch next week, and you got your semifinal bouts coming up, starting to draw, put history in them, so they'll be the main event in a week or two. And then everything culminates at the Coliseum.
Right. No, since you grew up in wrestling, did you always know that's what you were going to do? Like, you were going to work in wrestling somewhere?
Well, I kind of always did. I mean, I put posters out when I was a kid. I put the rings up. I sold tickets. I was an usher. My daddy used to take me, like, on Saturday night. We always ran, one of the towns was Spartanburg, South Carolina. And he'd take me down there, and he'd sit me up on the office is right there by the door. The people would come in, and they had a big sliding wooden door over top of the counter, and I'd sit up on top of the counter and hustle programs. So I've always kind of been in it. Mm-hmm. And I've never been a 9-to-5er.
Yeah.
I was kind of talking with my wife tonight. I said, I've never had a regular job. And then when I started working with the company, I started shooting the interviews. And I did that on 16-millimeter film. And all of the television shows were shot in studio. Mm-hmm. WBT in Charlotte, or WREL in Raleigh. And so you had that limitation. And then I shot the interviews in an office next to our office of 1111 East Moorhead. And I got kind of tired of listening to these guys saying the same repetitious thing, oh, tonight's the night, or I'm going to do this and that. And so I'd stop and say, listen, let's do something else. Let's do something a little more creative and trying to bring their personalities out, whatever the issue is, and try to put some color there. And that's, we started, and we got our television truck, and we started doing our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We went from having like 12 TV stations to when we sold it to Turner, I had 258 that ran my show every week.
Some of the fans say they kind of miss the studio wrestling. You just brought up about filming in the studio. Do you think that was which was like better for like the TV show, like a studio show, or in like?
Oh no. I mean you got a tremendous action going on in the ring. In the studio, you got what 50, 70 people in there,
right?
And you got 3 people clapping. I don't care what's going on in the ring if you haven't got that audio.
Yeah.
The fans, so you can cut to a fan who's excited, and, or a group of people, and that helps add the excitement to the people who are sitting at home. Because that's the way I always tried to shoot the thing, and edit things out, is for the person who is sitting on the other side of that television watching it, to keep them involved in it. I always kept motion in the shots. I tried directing, but nobody ever shot it the way I wanted to. And when the director was on a wrong camera for something that was going on, I'd call him on it, and he'd switch.
Yeah.
And they always had my camera on an isolated machine, so if they missed something, they could go back to it and, show it after the match is over, or cut to it during the match too. We started doing that, putting it in a box. But we put the action in there.
Yeah, to know how to do that, would you have to know like maybe the finish of the match, or would you rather prefer not to know?
Well, I kind of knew what the finishes were, but I've been watching these guys long enough. I knew what was going on, and I always kept the 2 legal guys. Yeah, I kept the 2 legal guys in the shot, and my camera was going back and forth. I'd jump up on the side of the ring, and if the guy was up, threw the guy outside, and he's getting ready to come off the corner, I'd take the camera off. I would know. I always knew where my horizons were. I didn't have to look through the viewfinder to know what my shot was. And I take the camera, I put it all the way down on the floor, so it looks like the guy's coming from 20 miles away.
Right.
Then as soon as he hits, I just sort of move back with it and keep the flow going.
We got You go on, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying we got a couple callers here, but I'll finish over what you were saying.
I would go talk to the guys and ask them if there was something special they were going to do. And of course, when I used to shoot the 16 millimeter, you had like 3 minutes and 38 seconds worth of film. So I would have to go in and talk to the guys and say, listen, I need something that you're going to do during the match that you're only going to do once and go into your finish, so that I would be sure and, be able to shoot all of it. But after we got the television with all the other cameras and, if there was going to be a special finish or something special that needed to be shown, I needed to know about it. But most of the time, I just, shot it from the hip.
Do you think that helped that you had, like, you knew all the guys and you said you had, like, a feeling for wrestling itself? Like, if someone else was on a camera who, like, wasn't necessarily a wrestling fan, like, maybe they wouldn't know, what to shoot?
Well, one of the things, we generally kept the same crews with us. We would take our camera guys, some of our technicians and stuff, we'd pick up in the towns, but the camera guys, your key personnel, you take with you. And that way they know what's going on. There's generally 3 handhelds down at the ring. If there was some kind of question as to what they do, they would look over at me, and I'd point them to go up or, this way or that way, and they kind of got a feel for it too. And of course, we're always in contact through headsets. So.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Al Kicks on the line here.
Hi, how you doing, Jackie?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing very good, thank you. Just a couple questions, I guess. Why do you think a lot of people consider Gordon Solie one of the greatest wrestling commentators of all time? And I would agree. In your opinion, why do you think he was such a great commentator?
Well, Gordon was a great person to start with. His vocabulary, his understanding of wrestling, and he knew the guys, and he was one of us. We'd have to travel a lot, and you end up with a lot of history. And Gordon he kept on his sport, and he knew what was needed to be presented, and he did it in a colorful fashion.
There's always a story that he actually got in the ring, and he took some of the moves, so he would be better at calling them, like the the figure 4 leg lock, and he would talk about the different points that it would hurt. Did you ever get in the ring and take any of the moves?
No, I got in the ring one time to try to separate a couple of wrestlers. Somebody knocked my ass out.
Right.
That's what I used to do the payroll. But I mean, Gordon, they used to shoot down in Florida at 106 North Albany, and that was where the office was and stuff. And so, he went down and he really studied his sport, and he was good at it, and he had the vocabulary to back it up.
Would you agree that some people say he's the best of all time? Some people might say Jim Ross or somebody else. Who, in your opinion, who was the best commentator that you get to work with?
Well, Ross is an excellent commentator, but I still think Gordon.
I think he would.
He's he could add color when it wasn't there.
Right. What's your second question, Alex?
I actually wanted to ask, I guess, how would you compare, Ole Anderson and Dusty Rhodes as bookers?
They both had their, good points and bad. They were pretty much, neck and neck. Ole was, a little more down-home wrestling kind of stuff, and Dusty, he was a little more colorful, but the booking process was more of a group of people. It wasn't just Ole or Dusty. Everybody was involved in that. They would have officers come in and the discussion of how matches went. And, Jimmy, David, or myself. And, it was a group effort. It was not just one guy. I mean, Dory Funk was in there before, and there was a lot of guys through there.
Yeah. Do you have any stories about Ole? Because, Ole's a character that a lot of people have different opinions.
Yeah, I'll tell you one. We were coming back from some small town of South Carolina, and there was Gene and Ole were in a car, and there was a midget, Fuzzy Cupid, was in the car that night, and Fuzzy was standing on the transmission hump in the back seat, and Fuzzy, of course, had a big head of hair. Well, we were, I forget who else was in the car, but I was in the car behind them, and when we came back from these towns at night, we were kind of speeding a lot of times. And I don't forget what small town it was, but we went through there, and we got caught by a traffic light, and a policeman pulled in behind Ole, and Ole still thought it was us, so he started speeding up before they were out of town. And the policeman pulled him over. By the time we got there, the policeman was standing there with his hat off in his hand, scratching his head, and Ole's chasing Fuzzy Cupid around the car because he's going to get a ticket because he couldn't see behind him because of Fuzzy's damn head. So it was kind of funny watching him chase the midget in the middle of the night.
It's always fun. Anytime you got midgets involved, I think it's a good time.
Yeah, well, we midgets and the girls, we didn't use that often. It was generally done around the holiday seasons when you sort of bring out everything you got.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Kicks.
Thank you very much.
I think I called him Alex one time. That's all right. Area code 479. I'm not sure who this is.
Hey, Jackie, it's TGD back in effect, calling the IYH, and I have to tell Mr. Crockett that his brand of wrestling is, in my opinion, the greatest brand of wrestling that has existed. It's what I grew up on. It stayed true to its classic fundamentals and was always enjoyable to watch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot.
I also have to say you talked about the studio as opposed to the big technical crew. I like the small studio taping feel because I felt it gave a more intimate setting for fans. You got more into it because of the smaller, more intimate details. I wanted to ask, is there anything now, currently, product-wise, that you enjoy to watch? Or are you turned off completely?
I don't watch any of the wrestling now. They went through the stuff. They took Dustin, made him gay, chasing guys, and they got the half-naked women running around. Your family can't sit there and watch the show anymore. It's almost like an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for all the great years that you brought us wrestling fans, and thank you to your family. It always is a joy to go back and look at the older Crockett footage for me. It's what I grew up on, and I will always endorse it till the day I die.
Well, thank you. We couldn't have done it if we didn't have all the great wrestlers we had. Ricky Steamboats and Ric Flair when he first came to us, greased back hair from Minnesota. I think he had like a striped shirt and checkered pants on. My daddy told me to take him out and get him dressed. And that's why I used to wear a $10 gold piece. And he said, "Oh, he liked that." And I said, "Well, I don't know where I can get you one." He said, "No, I want a 20." And that's where we picked up on that personality of his.
Uh-huh.
Leave the memories alone. Goodbye, Jack. We hope one day you and Insure come back. In your head we'll live forever in our hearts, lingering on like Andre the Giant's farce. Endless questions from Lexer and Nikhil. Never again really gets us in the fields. Raw report put us all to sleep, but Stephen was a good piece. Leave the memories alone. Goodbye, Jack. We hope one day you and Insure come back. We love Jackson, Clinton, and Juju B, not to mention the ones we never see. Shout out to William Morey, your memories will be full of glory. Swatch that ass forevermore, all now part of the Heady lore. Leave the memories alone. Goodbye, Jack. We hope one day you and Insure come back. Go, go, Clinton and Goosey. It's time for Jack to leave the memories alone. Goodbye, Jack. We hope one day you and Insure come back. Leave the memories alone. Goodbye, Jack. We hope one day you and Insure come back.
There we go, folks. And we are live here once again at In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I'm the internet icon, the pride of the pilgrims, the most honest man in all of podcasting, and many say a damn handsome man. Nasty Neal here. Sorry for the late start. We were going to do the show Tuesday. We're going to do it Wednesday. But we're here live now. The Friday Night Delight, as my boy Dobb says here in the chat. All right, and we are about to kick off the show. So, we're going to take calls here momentarily. I'm going to go over Dynamite and Collision. It was a 3-hour extravaganza. We'll open up the heady lines, talk to the Headyverse, answer the questions, see what's going on, and then we'll be back next week. Let me know, people, what day works best for you guys. You know, we were on Tuesday nights for a long time. We used to be on Saturday night. We used to be Friday night. Wednesday night for a long time. I like the idea of Wednesday night after Dynamite, but it does get kind of late. It's a late start for people. You know what I mean? We start the show, at like 10. I'm kind of winded after doing that. I just came back from like a 4 or 5 mile walk. It's like a super late start. And then you're up to, we're doing the show till like 2 in the morning. But I do like the idea of doing the show sometime after Dynamite because it's fresh on my head. Not like 6 days after Dynamite. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who even cares at that point what the hell happened? So let me know what works for you. I kind of like this Friday late afternoon, early evening start. Plus my boy Dobbs can be around. Nikhil maybe can be around. They're over in England towns, 5 hours distance. But forget all that. Let me know, though. You can email me, iyhwrestling@gmail.com. You can leave it right here in the chat. You can, DM me on Facebook, on X, on wherever the hell you follow me. Let us know. So, first of all, before we get into Dynamite, though, the passing of Ted Turner. Not just a wrestling, a huge name in wrestling itself, but a huge name in television. The Turner channels were huge for cable, and so this is a titan of entertainment has passed away. Plus, had a great restaurant, or maybe still does, for not beef. What do you call it? Buffalo bison. Great bison. I went there with President Clinton out there. Great stuff. Hit the like button, by the way. Subscribe and become a member. It starts only $3 a month, and it helps support this channel. You want it to keep going, so I'm not saying you have to save money, but it does help. It does help pay for everything that goes on here. But yeah, Ted Turner. So for me personally, I grew up watching TBS and TNT. Later on. But the biggest part of that for me, and probably most of the people watching here would have been NWA and then WCW. And I know people sometimes will have them as two different promotions, and I think that's kind of false, honestly. NWA just went on and became WCW. The modern day NWA is really connected to the original in name only, I would say, and WCW much more connected. It was just that to me. That's the real lineage. But so Saturday, I grew up Saturday night. That's why originally when we did the show, we started at 6:05 because that was ingrained in our heads. 6:05 Saturday night, 6:05 p.m. Eastern would be WCW Saturday Night. And now I was a big wrestling fan all across the board. I watched all the wrestling I could watch when I in my youth. WWF. NWA, World Class. It was, the dying days of World Class. I saw that, AWA, and whatever else, would pop up on TV. Sometimes we'd have some local indies would get a TV show and whatnot. But I was always drawn to the NWA. I like the grittier style of the NWA, more adult, even though I was a kid. I actually do have a theory. This goes beyond wrestling, but wrestling, TV movies that. And I can't speak for everybody, but I think most kids don't really want kids programming. They want to watch something that's more adult. And that was me. So I preferred the NWA. There was always stuff in WWF that I liked, of course, all the Roddy Piper and stuff. Always was not a Hulk Hogan guy at all. I didn't really, for the most part, was not into the more cartoony things in wrestling. So, big NWA fan. I remember one of the first things I saw was Dusty Rhodes in the NWA, and I remember my grandfather. He was the huge, babyface guy. Hated the heels. Didn't just dislike him. Hated the heels, and loved all the all the bag. I mean, he loved all the baby faces. So he loved Dusty Rhodes, loved Hulk Hogan. I was the opposite. Now that's kind of like cool today to like the heel probably more than the baby face. It wasn't really the norm back then. So I was a big Piper fan. Loved the Four Horsemen. But what I liked about the NWA, and I probably wouldn't have been able to put that into know how to phrase it back then or really explain it because you're a kid, but for the most part, the baby faces were not all goody in the NWA. They weren't like do no wrong. The ones that were, I disliked. Like I did not like the Rock and Roll Express. Later in life, I realized these guys are really good wrestlers, but guys like Magnum TA, they had an edge to them, so I liked them. But just we're not going to go over the history of the NWA here. But it's just the Turner channels, and I grew up like a lot of people here. Anybody my age, up to a certain age, I'm sure we're watching NWA and WCW. Huge part of my childhood. It's also without that you would have had just WWF, because once WWF started to go national and get TV. It kills off all the territories. But with Turner there with the NWA, it had, not just competition, but another place people could wrestle, another style of wrestling, more than just one wrestling promotion on TV. So, you had your choice of what you're into. I'd watch both, but if I had a preference, it was the NWA. And, it was always said that Turner at different times, like they wanted to get rid of wrestling for different reasons. Even though wrestling is what helped put Turner, on the map, he was always loyal to the wrestling. Now, was he as connected to the wrestling as Vince McMahon or, other family people like the Gagnes or something? No. But in some ways, that's a little more admirable. Because guys like Vince or the Gagnes or the Harts or these people, Lawler and stuff, not only you're like, okay, this is in our blood, but it's also our livelihood. So we want to, keep this because not only like the passion of the wrestling, but it's the family business, and without it, we have to go do something else. So with Turner, he doesn't have that. Like you could just show movies and old shows or whatever, and he's going to do well. But he had passion and loyalty to the wrestling, so he kept it on there. Well, I mean, I'll go up some of these things about every territory still running with 4 organizations. I mean, let's be honest. Like you can pretend that. Were they technically around? Sure. Were they viable places where people could go and make a living? Were they places that were changing the landscape of wrestling? Were they places that were going to withstand the test of time? I mean, the answer is no. I mean, you can fool yourself all you want, and you could have loved them. That's great, but you can't pretend that they were on the same level. And then he was saying about the idea of hiring, bad people. I mean, I hate to tell you this. The territories had many bad people. I mean, that's where do you think a lot of these people came from? They weren't born in the WWF. So this idea that only the WWF hired this is we're talking about Ted Turner here, but this idea that only the WWF hired, bad people and all the other wrestling companies were all angels and saints. I mean, you're living in fantasy land. But anyway, so Turner was loyal to wrestling, kept it on. And who knows what the history of wrestling would have been without that. Because we saw WWF when it was the only game in town. It was not a good time in wrestling. I mean, that's when I really lost my fandom of wrestling. So, and then of course, WCW and those early 90s WCW, I loved it. but it was not setting, records, was not really on fire as far as, viewership. Had great stuff for me. I love that era of Sting, Invader, Cactus Jack, Steve Austin, Dangerous Alliance. To me, it was great. But it wasn't, blowing up ratings. Then, of course, the Monday Night Wars roll in, and then, that's been gone over more than I think any time ever in the history of wrestling is the Monday Night Wars. And I get it, but at the same time, like, who's going to sit here and talk about the Monday Night Wars? We know it by now. But it changed wrestling, and it was a sad day once Turner loses actual power in the companies, and then you see what happens. They get rid of wrestling, and as a wrestling fan, it was devastating. Honestly, I mean, I don't know that maybe that sounds too extreme, but it was the loss of WCW and ECW the same year. And now years later, AEW is on the Turner channels, and it's not the NWA, it's not WCW. I get it, but the idea of a wrestling company again being on Turner is great for me as a lifetime wrestling fan. So rest in peace, Ted Turner. A lot can be said about him, not just in wrestling, but it's a wrestling show. So go and read about Ted Turner. There's no one's a saint, but also did a lot of good things. So Dynamite this week, it opened up with a really touching tribute to Ted Turner by someone who would know him, Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone, I would say the voice of WCW. People can argue maybe some other names, but I would say Tony Schiavone. So I think that was the perfect guy to do it. Sting came out. Sting looks pretty badass, I have to say, with the silver hair. And I'm really happy that Sting is still involved in AEW. Huge Sting fan, obviously. And he seems like, honestly, I think he's had more fun here than he's had in wrestling in decades, I would say. I don't think he really had fun in the WCW run. Maybe the early 90s, but I think he's pretty miserable, through the Monday Night Wars. Maybe had some fun in TNA. Probably didn't have a great time in WWF. But that AEW run, I would argue it's my favorite run of Sting. Besides like the early 90s, early 90s, late 80s Sting for me as a fan. Now the Crow Sting was huge, don't get me wrong, but as a fan, I would say I preferred the AEW run. His matches were not really that great at that point anymore. It was all about his presence, which was awesome. It was an awesome year there. But just for me, it was fun seeing a guy for multiple reasons. A guy that's been around for decades, and it's clear he's having a good time. And to use a legend so well, where you never watched Sting in his last couple of years in AEW and thought, oh, this is an old guy. Or they never made him to look like even Punk now, the storyline, and Punk's, 50 or something. The storyline in WWE with Punk is that he's old, washed up guy and he's lost steps. And I get that as storytelling, and I'm not saying that's not a viable story, but is it fun to watch as a wrestling fan? I'd say no. The Sting stuff was fun. And so that was great, a great run, and I like that it's continued in AEW. So great tribute to Ted Turner to start off Dynamite. And we started with Moxley versus Juice Robinson. Now, normally I'd be like, well, we know he's going to win this match. And, I did. But at the same time, this was a good match. I like this match, and I didn't have a problem with this one being on the show because the factions are at war or feuding. And I think Juice is a really underrated talent. He's always been kind of the second banana to somebody else. Switchblade and whatnot. So, I don't know. I really thought Switchblade would, be like one of the guys in AEW. And I don't know if that's ever going to pan out. He's very injury prone and he's never really caught on to the level I thought he would going to AEW. So sometimes a fresh restart can work, or sometimes they book you like Will Ospreay. So Juice Robinson, very, it's a lot more physical guy than I think of. Because he's got kind of that goofy feel to him. I don't mean that in a bad way. I think he's entertaining. But I don't think him as like a physical. If I was watching the match, I'm like, his strikes all very physical. So I like that kind of wrestling. Moxley bleeding from the face, which was pretty cool. I know some people will go nuts about anytime Moxley bleeds, but it was good. Good physical match that progressed. Some of these storylines. Then we had Will Ospreay training video with the Death Riders, and I mean, the idea of them wanting to help Ospreay's neck, it's better than Will Ospreay just being a complete bum like they were doing. That's friggin' sucked. But this is not good either, in my opinion. Maybe if this is how they brought him back and he didn't have matches, it'd be one thing. They're like, we don't know if Will Ospreay can ever come back. He's in the hospital. And then Moxie offers to get this guy back into ring shape or something. I don't know. Maybe there's something you do there, but because the thing is, he comes off as Will Ospreay should be the top guy, the top guy. The top babyface. MJF, the top heel. Ospreay, the top babyface. You want him very strong going into Wembley. But this really makes him weak. It makes him the second banana to Moxley. It'd be one thing if we never seen the guy before, and this is how you're building him, and then he's going to turn on his mentor. The teacher becomes the master or whatever, but we've seen the guy, and we know, and he was built. Coming in, we knew he was a guy wrestled all over the world. So now he's just like this broken down guy. I don't think the idea of making your wrestler seem weak is good. And I get in basic storytelling, you want your babyface to overcome something, your protagonist, but the in wrestling is a little different, and it depends on the guy. Like Darby should be an underdog coming up, but Will Ospreay should just be like a guy winning all the time. And I honestly think they book him for shit, and it's too bad because I think he's the total package. I don't think he's just he can just do moves. No, he connects to the audience. He has charisma. He's good promo, honestly, much better than Kenny Omega in promo. So I think this is bad, honestly. Then we had Dax and Orange. Plus, even there's a little thing there where Moxie's telling Ospreay about you could have a career here even if you don't get better and you can get paid, but you want to be a guy who wrestles and in theory that's good. Okay, Ospreay wants to do this. I get the idea behind it, but at the same time, you're also really making your company look bad because you're saying that guys can come there, get hurt, do nothing, and they just make a living. And I don't know if that's really the vibe you want to put out there. We had a Dax versus Orange Lumberjack match, double jeopardy. So if Orange won, they get a chance at the tag titles, and if Dax would have won, they get a chance at the trios belt. The only problem with this match, because I like this match a lot, I like both guys, is that at the same time they're already advertising that FTR are wrestling Cope and Christian at the pay-per-view. So it's kind of weird to have this match to get a tag team title match against a team are wrestling this other team. Because okay, even if they win this, they're not going to win the belts. They're not going to switch a show and all of a sudden it's Copeland and Christian versus, Orange Cassidy and somebody that's not going to happen. Or all of a sudden they just do a rematch and they take out Cope and Christian, or they make it a trios, which this is a real blood feud, so you wouldn't want to do that. So that's my only negative to it. But a really fun match. And sometimes, I haven't seen too many Lumberjack matches for a while. They used to do them sometimes, I think, just to throw a bunch of people out there. But this in AEW, since it's so faction heavy, it works. It makes sense. So the conglomerate, what the fuck? The team win the chance at the tag titles. And then Rocky and Trent were left with everyone, and they take everyone's finishes and get beat up. So this was fun. I like it. Orange one with a fun roll-up. Jericho backstage, and so they're building up to Stadium Stampede. And Jericho's like, if I can't find 4 partners, let's take you guys all on by yourself. So I like that. I'm a fan of Jericho, and I'm glad he's back. So I guess it'll be it'll be Ricochet and his group. It's only 3 guys, isn't it? Though, is there 2 other guys they have in the group? I'm probably missing them. And then so it looks like be Hurt Syndicate and Jericho, but I would assume it's possible they could include MVP, but they'll still need either 1 or 2 more guys. Do you add new people to the Hurt Syndicate, or do you just 2 new people come in? Maybe New Day come in. I don't know. Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know. Throwing them out there. So I like that. I'm always a fan of the Stadium Stampede. They're very fun. You can also help protect, guys like a Jericho. He doesn't have to do like a regular full match. You can do a lot of fun spots, a lot of wildness. I enjoy that stuff. And I got to be honest here. And I am not Jim Cornette. I am not that girls are out there. I would say Rhea Ripley, Timeless Toni Storm, a lot of the women are some of the biggest wrestlers in wrestling, regardless of their gender. These 2 people I just don't care about, not because they're women. I just don't care about them, and that is Harley Quinn and the other lady. And so they did like a thing where they ripped off Harley Quinn's shirt. There's something very off-putting. Look, she's a pretty lady. I'm not saying that, but personality-wise, I do not like Harley Quinn whatsoever. And but even this, it just came off. And look, I know I'm not being the big woke guy, but just very like late '90s, early 2000s WWF heel to me. And that's like an era of women's wrestling I think is pretty garbage. So this was not my deal. And neither was the next match. We have Okada versus the Bounty Hunter. If you think this is a 3-hour show and it's not live, I didn't watch it live. If you think I'm going to sit here and watch Okada versus the Bounty Hunter wrestle for a half hour when I know he's going to win, and I cannot give 2 fucks about Okada and Bounty Hunter, I don't know, maybe I could give 1 fuck for that guy, but not even that. That sounded weird, didn't it, folks? But fuck this. I'm not watching that match. Who gives a flying fuck about the Bounty Hunter? Look, he went back to the Bounty Hunter name. He never hunts bounties, and if he did, he's like 5'2", and he never wins the match. So why would anyone be afraid of him? The guy stinks. Like, at least the Bad Apple's kind of fun. There might be something there, but the Bounty Hunter gimmick is like from like territory days out of the 1980s, like something. They used to have bounty hunters would come into like World Class to hunt. They're gonna go hunt Kevin Von Erich or something. The Tiger. What was the guy? Killer Tim Woods or Killer Tim Brooks or something. So if you have a bounty hunter wrestler, he has to like be an intimidating guy on some level. That doesn't even necessarily be a giant guy. Like maybe even Homicide could be like a bounty hunter. And you have to establish that whenever this guy is hunting somebody, he wins. I'm not saying he has to be Goldberg, but if a guy never wins, never beats anybody up, what the fuck good is he as a bounty hunter? Like, would you go hire Mario Mancini? You'd be like, hey, Mario, we need a bounty hunter to go take out, Greg Valentine, and we're hiring Mario Mancini. Like, no. So what the fuck good is this loser, Keith, what his name? Keith Moon? Not Keith Moon, Keith something. Fuck this guy. Fuck this match. Okada stinks. He's a huge waste of money. He's an old washed up guy that does not connect to audiences unless they already know him. And I don't. And I say fuck Okada and fuck this match. I'm not watching it. I'm fast forwarding. I'm like, good Lord, it's like 28 minutes long. No. So then we went to the Ops promo. And is Bowens is in the Ops now? Boy, did they wasted one of the most over teams in wrestling. Like, you can argue with me, maybe they weren't the greatest wrestlers. I would say that they were fine as wrestlers, but who cares if you're over to the level they were, the Acclaimed? You run with that. You had a homegrown, maybe like the new age outlaws, like super over crowd chanting along with them. They loved it. I loved it. Scissor me, daddy. That was arguably one of the most over things in wrestling. You break them up. You have a super over team. You break them up, and you get two guys. One of the guys has potential to be a top main event guy on his charisma and promo ability alone. The other guy, I'm sorry, does not. Who do they push? The guy that doesn't. And then they put them back together, do some weird, sloppy bullshit story that goes nowhere, just ends. And then now he's back. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, Bowens, yeah. So did they break up again? I don't know. But it stinks. And Bowens is not going to be a top singles guy. Nothing against Bowens. And who the hell cares if Anthony Bowens is in the Ops? And then they're trying to get Will Ospreay. No, I am thinking, like, okay, let's say this was real. Like, would you rather be in a team, with Pac and Moxley and Claudio? Or, I mean, if it was just Joe, but it's like you want to be like, no, I want to leave here and tag with Anthony Bowens. I hope this leads to him, either bringing in the Empire or whatever, or he just goes by himself. And I know this. I say this for a fact. I know she's not Harley Quinn. I know she's Harley Cameron, but there's no fun in calling her Harley Cameron. She sucks either way. And fuck Brian Keith. The fucking bounty hunter bullshit. He's the fucking bum. You can't, look, I'm a short guy. So if you are 5'2", and you're going to be a bounty hunter, you gotta be portrayed as a badass. You can't be a 5'2" bounty hunter that never wins. Has he won one match ever? I'm serious. Has he ever won one singles match ever? I've not seen it. Who would be like, man, I got to take somebody out. Look at that guy over there. He's 5'2", and somebody's like, well, he's short. Like, yeah, but is he bad? Nah. Does he win matches? No, never. He's never won a match yet. So you're gonna give him your money to take that guy out? Yeah, that's the plan. Okay. Love the tribute to Ted on Dynamite. Yeah, I did too. I figured Tony Schiavone was going to say something about Ted, but not expect Sting to show up. Yeah, I'm a huge Sting fan. Yeah, I brought this up a little earlier. Go, you're a good man. So then we had Harley and Mina, and they wrestled Shida. And I really just thought, again, I'm putting this with they had back-to-back things. I'm like, I'm not watching Okada and the fucking Bad Apple, and I'm not watching this match. So we skipped those two matches. I'm sure they were fantastic. Then we had a promo with Swerve and Nana, who I'm a big fan of, Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. So that was cool. Then we had, AEW. I love AEW. I love Darby Allin. I love Darby Allin as champion. And I think Ted Knight, or where the hell he is, Knight Rider, he's a good talent. Could he be something someday? Maybe. Is he right now? No. Is Darby Allin versus Knight, versus Dennis Knight, a main event caliber match? Nope. Should this main event your 3-hour special? No. Is this a good match? when so you've got the new champion Darby Allin, building him up for to do the rematch versus Moxley. Nope. Should this have happened? Nope. Did I care about this match? Nope. Was it good? Yeah, it was a good match. Did I care? Hell no. So it was a foregone conclusion is going to win, even if it wasn't. Let's say even if I did know that, was I like really riveted, at the end of the show to watch this? No. So, I mean, I watched it, but I was like, okay, let's get this going. But, so that ends, and then we get into Collision. And, so is this I don't get this show, honestly. So, why just call the next hour Collision when it's a 3-hour show? It's like, this is 2-hour Dynamite followed by an hour Collision, but it's just a continuation altogether one show. It's like, what? So, MJF comes out, and I don't think Darby Allin gets enough credit for being a great promo. It's a lot of passion, and him and MJF are really good together. Good back and forth. Because they took something that can be a little, corny hair match, but they made it good because Darby's like, I want to take something that really means something to you. Something that you spent thousands, and not just money, but he spent time. He flew across the world to Turkey to get someone in his head. We're going to, I want your hair! So I like this. Hair versus title. Good back and forth in Mike. And then what the fuck? Okada comes out. I'm like, come on. I don't give a shit about this guy. He sucks. There's probably 28 guys on the show. I'd probably push just about everybody before I push this guy. But I would say easily, no joke, this is not hyperbole, there'd be at least 20 people, at least, that I would say I would push before him on this level. If I'm being, if I just take out I just don't care about the guy. If I'm being just objective here, he's old, he's washed up, he barely tries, he has no charisma, doesn't connect to the audience, no one outside people who already know him. He's old and broken, so there's no point in, this is a guy that's going to mean something in the future. He barely means anything now, so he's going to mean even less down the road. They've been pushing him now for 2 years, and it's the same level. I would say he's less over than he was. There's nothing happening here. And my boy Gogo say, I like it when he says, bitch. It's like, okay, I get it. The Asian guy says bitch. You could go hire some guy from 7-Eleven to do that. And that's funny. This guy gets $800 million a year or something. Fucking Okada. Then there was something about backstage Ospreay improved somehow. It was kind of this the stakes, the Ospreay stuff. So he was not cleared to wrestle, but he went and wrestled in Japan. I'm like, okay, so this whole point of them trying to fix him is because he's so broken down he can't wrestle, but he went and wrestled in the country known for strong style. How does this make sense? It doesn't. But then they're like, somehow you still improved. And I was like, whatever, man. And then, so then we went to, AR Foxford Speedball. Okay, look, I've watched, 2 hours and, 40 minutes of wrestling at this point. If this was the opening match, I'd probably hey, this is fun. 2 hours and 40 minutes in, I'm like, enough. I've had enough. I do not need to see AR Fox for Speedball. Mike Bailey. I'm sure as a match it was very fun. I'm sure it was a great time. But I ain't watching it. All right. I do not understand the Ospreay storyline. The only way it makes sense is if Ospreay hurts Mox and Mox is out of action for a long time. Yeah, I think even then it's not good because the only way that would make sense is if Ospreay was a new guy and was not already established as your top guy, your top babyface. So at this point, so if he was a new guy and this was his initial push, that would be fine. You know what I mean? He breaks away. Like Batista breaks away from the Evolution, or so. Luger breaks out of the Horseman, that kind of thing. But at this point, you've already established him for that he's going to be supposed to be your top guy, and then you instead of just going this way with your elevation, you're like, let's really tear this guy down so that he can be the underdog again. And I think it's very poor. I think it's poor all around. Everything about it's bad. Very, very bad. I like Kevin Knight. It's not that I don't like him, but it's just he's not a main event guy at this time. And if you're going with Darby Allin, who many don't see as a championship guy to begin with, you need to put him in there with top tier people. And Kevin Knight is the opposite of what you should. So you're main event your show with a guy that is already fighting some critics as not a worthy champion, and you put him in there against a guy that no one would say is championship material. So it's bad. Fuck Okada. No one with any mind. No offense, Golgo, would be for this. The only reason I'd want to see it is if Takeshita just Highlanders him. It's there can be only one. And he just literally, decapitates a man and sucks out whatever's left of his essence in that dried up carcass of a has-been. That's the only way it works. Well, that being said, let's open up the video lines. If you'd like to video in, let me know what you thought about whatever. I don't care. Ted Turner, wrestling in general. Hit the like button, subscribe, and help out the show. We got to keep the lights on here in the Headylands. So become a member. It starts only $3 a month, or for only $10 a month, you can be a producer here on the show, like Brian Matthew Clutter of it. Schiavone and Jonathan Jackson. All right, and we'll thank the other fine people in a minute here. Toronto Stevie, what's up?
Hey, Jack. I'm Neal, Nasty Neal. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Things are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom.
This Friday night.
It's a Friday night delight, as Dobbs was calling it.
Well, yeah. Billionaire Ted has passed away. I was thinking you had the thing on there, best memories of Ted, and the first one that popped into my head actually wasn't non-wrestling. Was Ted and Jane during the baseball playoffs. I took great delight in Toronto beating the Atlanta Braves in '92, with Ted and Jane trying to cheer on the Braves.
Yeah, it's another thing. Big, Turner obviously big for sports fans, not just wrestling fans.
But yeah, like you were saying about Ted, yeah, he put wrestling on because one, it got ratings, and two, it was cheap programming to put on a fledgling cable station.
Yeah, I think that's the initial thing, but then as time goes on, I think then he has loyalty to something that helped him out.
Yeah, I mean that's what everybody talks about, how much Ted liked wrestling, and that's the only reason WCW survived was he liked.
Yeah, because I like that early '90s stuff. Not all of it's great, but I love like Steven Regal, Matt Regal, and Sting, and Vader, and Cactus, and Dangerous Alliance. But it was dying days, it was not doing great. So it would have been easy just to get rid of it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching wrestling during that period as well. That transition from Jim Crockett Promotions to Ted Turner, and Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed that too. I mean, like
Of course, you had stuff like ding dongs, and but honestly, almost I would say probably every era of wrestling had some stuff that's like really lousy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't think there's any promotion or era where I'd watch it from beginning to end and be like, oh, there'd be shows where that would happen, but that overall, like every week to week, everything's, fantastic, that's probably not gonna, I would rather actually have some of that stuff like the ding dongs, but have something like, Regal and Cac, some of the really good stuff, as opposed to everything just being kind of blah. You know what I mean? Where nothing's like really bad, but just blah.
Oh yeah. And wrestling wise, I mean, when he did take over, you didn't see Ted very much on WCW programming, but once in a while he would show up for some sort of special announcement or occasion. And I know somebody posted that appearance he made on WCW Saturday Night. He and Jane showed up to a Johnny B. Bad match.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna put the cat down. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm so glad. I mean, I'm glad that there was an alternative. Because I mean, when it came to pay-per-views, as I've said before, I watched WCW pay-per-views, even those before Hogan came in. So, yeah, I say rest in peace, Ted Turner. And yeah, I did get to watch Dynamite. I really enjoyed the tribute. Always enjoy seeing Sting show up. And what you were saying about, I know you don't like Okada. That's quite clear. But like, I mean, like if you've got Darby as the champion, I think at least like when these two guys, I think if and when these two guys go, I mean, like, Okada, well, I certainly hope Okada puts Darby over or Darby wins. But I mean, like, at least you've got multiple people challenging Darby as a champion. It's not just a two-person show like WWF can.
Yeah. No, I do like the idea of everyone wanting a title.
They all
everyone wanting the title match. I actually, you know what? You could still do the night match with Darby, but if you do that match, I don't think you should main event with it. You should probably be like in the middle of the show.
Yeah, that's what they used to do with Flair.
Yeah.
Flair would come on in the middle of a show, he'd beat some guy, and then they'd go on with the show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Main event.
And I get I can also see the point of like, well, the championship should be the main event, so I get that. But in AEW, you can main event with the tag titles or the women's title or something. So it doesn't have, because they're all like considered, world belts.
Yeah. But I guess that's a flaw in Tony Khan as a booker. He adopts that. If you're the world champion, you're in the main event.
Yeah.
Of who you're facing.
I think it's not even like I'm against that idea, but at the same, if you are going to do that, it needs to be like all main event people in the main event. And I think the problem with Knight right now, because Darby Allin, I think is a guy that needs. I love him, and I think he's a viable world champion, but he's also an underdog guy. So I think you have to always have him wrestling like a really big guy, not necessarily big physical guy, but a big name talent. And I think he also needs, a lot of people are going to be against him being world champ because he's small to begin with. So if you're going to do these matches with him in the main event, he has to be in there with like real top talent guys, or else it's going to look, it's going to be a hard sell, I think.
Like Samoa Joe.
Like I didn't mind Brody King. I think Brody King,
Samoa Joe, Bobby Lashley. I mean, get physically big guys, or do you mean just big in terms of stature?
Well, either way, either a big name or a big guy.
Name.
Yeah, because MJF works. That's not a big guy, but big name. Mr. 13, the Golgo is here.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. How you doing? Looking good. You're looking clean. That makes it seem like you normally look like you're unwashed or something.
I look like Festus.
You look like Stuttering John or something.
Yeah, good job, Jack. The synopsis about, Ted. I'm not a historian like the Meltzer. I'm not a subscriber anymore, so you have to tell me how much he buries Ted.
I'm not either, but I may have a little birdie who hooks me up with some audio.
Yeah.
But it's all in the up and up. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. But so if I hear it, I will let you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you talk about? Well, first, actually, before I get to this, you were talking about the NWA earlier. Did you? I doubt you did. Did you catch the first episode of NWA Power on? It's on over the air now. It's not even on. It's free on. It's on free TV now. It's on a channel called.
No, I was not even aware of that. To be honest.
Yeah, it comes on here. Maybe it's different in different locations. Saturdays at 4:00. So it's kind of close to the 6:05. But it's only an hour, and I watched it. I didn't know anybody except Trevor Murdoch. Do you remember him from?
Yeah, I know. I used to. I mean, I'll be honest. I did like Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was believable as that character.
Yeah.
I won't spoil anything, but yeah, it's only an hour. Billy Corgan did the open, talking about the history of the NWA, and it's kind of a throwback because it's a lot of kind of promos like centered around just kind of goofy stuff, and then they got some serious stuff, but I tell you what, they made a better impression of me than TNA coming back.
Yeah, I've heard nothing good about the TNA coming back.
I still watch every week, and there's some decent wrestling, but some of the storylines. I mean, you talk about Ospreay, and I love Rosemary, like as a character. Mm-hmm. She's great, and I love Decay when it first started because you can do that kind of shit, but you don't have to go Undead Realm where you're literally in a different dimension and all this shit, because she's so good at that character. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go so far out there as like the bunny really died, formerly Allie in AEW, and now she's back and people are seeing shit.
Hey, she's back from the dead.
Yeah. And I didn't see that because they weren't on my television, but it looks like they're going back to Broken Matt Hardy, which to me is double thumbs up because I don't give a flying fuck about regular Matt Hardy.
Yeah, and even if that's not really my cup of tea, I completely agree because for many reasons people are into it, and the guy is so broken, actually physically, it protects his body, so he doesn't have to do all. He could wrestle for a long time just doing that. And people would rather see it, so I don't see any negative to doing it, honestly.
Yeah, they're feuding with the you like this team, Jack, the Righteous. You remember them in AEW?
Yeah. That's a team I think AEW really missed the boat on.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, if you're into the end, want to give the NWA a chance, check it out.
Stevie's dog is a fan.
No, that's my dog. He's going.
Oh, it's your dog. Okay, all right. Yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out. I am a big fan of the Righteous. I remember, I did think that would be a team that took off in AEW, and I think they killed them off when they just lost the handicap match to MJF. That was bad, I thought.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to ask is, did you talk about Leo Rush's new gimmick? I love it. I mean, he's taking a chance, but my God, I mean, it's that thing he does in the ring where he gallops like a freaking dog or a horse. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah. No, I really like it too. My only thing I wish they would have done. So there's two things. I think he's great in the gimmick. I think it's because otherwise he's just a small guy who's great, and I always thought he's really very talented.
Because he was going nowhere with the COVID jacket. It was
yeah.
I know he does rap and everything, so that fit. But it's like him and that other guy, the guy that got the win over Jericho. That was going nowhere.
Yeah, Action Jackson, not Action Andretti. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you're going to say they should have showed him building up to this character.
Yeah, there should have been even like a vignette of either like he snaps and now he's this, or he's gone to the dark side. There has to be some kind of explanation, not just he pops up and he's him. And also, I think he needs protected on some level. You can't debut this new character, and I think it's cool, and then he just loses a lot.
Well, he lost to Pac, but I mean, he didn't get hurt to me at all because Pac was like, he really sold it because Pac is a very serious character and he sold it like, this guy's fucked up. I don't want to wrestle him again.
It's too bad Pac's pretty injury prone because I think he's like a top tier guy too. And especially since he got the haircut. I think he should worry less about doing the high flying because I don't think he needs to. And in AEW, he's not always the small guy. He could play the big guy versus a lot of people.
I mean, I don't know about you. I'll watch a little bit of Backlash, but I'm going to be tuning in live to that Fairway to Hell just to see that match because I know Darby's going over. I mean, 99.9% sure, but that's going to be a hell of a match because those guys are. Pac always brings it in the ring, and I love that everybody wants the world title in AEW, and lots of people get different title shots. The only thing. My only criticism to that is it does cheapen the big tournaments they do for a world title shot when people just get title shots.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love all these guys getting title shots, and I don't think you have to worry. I don't think there's any chance Okada wins because obviously Takesha's somehow going to cost him that match.
No,
or
because it is super boring in WWE. Like when I tune in, it's like. There's like two guys that get title shots, and they're, you know what I mean? It's like two or three guys. It's forever, and it's like, okay, I get it. I don't need to see Cody Rhodes, in every title match that's ever existed.
I mean, Stevie can speak to this better because I don't watch every week. I've been doing a little better since Mania season, but that is, I mean, good or bad, they don't defend the world title on TV very much. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to that. I guess that's the way NWA used to be.
I don't mind that in theory, but then if you would mix up the challenger a little bit, but it's like this, it's always like one of like four guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, and for another thing, we're talking about Switchblade. You may not realize this. It's literally been over a year since he's been on TV with that injury.
Wow.
So, it seems like they get the Colton back, one of the gun clubs. So that's great. But, they can't seem to have all the guys together. And I think it's like Wardlow. Injuries have really hampered Switchblade.
Because I think that whole group's actually really talented. But yeah, they get hurt so much. Do they still use? I wasn't really into that team. What were they? The Dogs? Are they still even there? Seems like.
Yeah.
Were they on this week? I didn't.
Yeah, they were. That's another complaint I have. Even though the matches are usually fun, every freaking week it's like a 10-man, match. Death Riders and the Dogs versus some baby faces. Every week Tony's been doing that. I think he does that just to get guys work on the show. Mm-hmm. And you got to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, the Dogs are like aligned with the Death Riders.
All right. Yeah. Which is weird because like you already have so many factions anyway. And then, which I'm not against. I know some people are against like all the. I don't mind that. I think that's kind of fun, but
I like factions too. Just useless factions I hate, like Dark Order. Can we have a funeral for them, please?
Yeah. Are they still? I guess they are technically still there. Every once in a while they pop up. But.
Yeah, I think as long as Evil Uno's friends with the Bucks, he's safe. All that.
You could have Evil Uno just. Like kind of like a Luther guy, like he could manage somebody. I don't think it'd be too bad. Yeah, then he could get in the ring every once in a while, but you don't need the group anymore. I think it killed off who was the kind of short guy, the short stocky guy?
Johnny Hungy?
Yeah, I think that really killed him off, like never just breaking him apart from the group. Cuz he had people really into him, and I thought like they were going to like he could be, not like the world champ, but he could definitely be like a guy. And then, I mean, I don't know when the last time I've really heard of him doing anything,
What do you think of Jack Perry's new catchphrase? It's pretty clever. I love the vignettes. I think they're fun. And I know Luchasaurus is, I guess he's hurt again, but I'm like, really? That's your catchphrase, Jack Perry?
What
you know
was
what
it?
it is, right? It's "fuck you." That's his new catchphrase. He ends the segment with "fuck you." That's what he says, and they bleep it out. Clever.
Yeah. Yeah, people used to think some of Austin's stuff was like, oh, anyone could go out there and say ass or something. But that's taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah. Like, it's okay. That's his deal. I think the national title's worthless. But he had a great match against that El Dorado, who I could give two shits about, but man, they had a great match. I mean, if you have a good match, I'm going to say you had a good match. I don't watch wrestling for that, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's really improved. I think he was always good, but he's, matured, and I think he's a real talent.
You talking about Jack Perry?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember.
I think he just needs some good feuds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. El Clone is the one you said, and I agree with you. He's like a botch machine. I used to get him and Dorado mixed up because I don't pay attention to luchadors as much because it's like they kind of use them like they did in WCW.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because a few of them they have are really good, but when they're just like interchangeable guys, it's hard to really.
Well, it's funny. I love. I used to not give a shit, but I think Andrade, he's really surprised me. He's in shape.
I was really anti him coming back, but I think he's been.
The gimmick's kind of a throwback, but I love it. It's a playoff. Him being a playboy, and then Roosh. Yeah, fingers crossed. I've always liked him, but if they've been pushing him good, and he just needs to stay healthy, and I think he could be somebody like TNT title.
Yeah.
And who knows? But he's got to stay healthy because it seems like he gets hurt like every couple months, and then he's gone for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then another guy I like is, and he's not a luchador. It's kind of funny. He kind of gets ribbed because I don't know if he actually speaks Spanish. They need to get Sammy back on TV, especially now that Jericho's
I've been saying that too, and I'm
perfect time for him to come back and maybe reunite with Jericho.
I was thinking that too because that would be a good guy to add to the group.
Because he needs guys for this thing. Yeah. But he's like, I don't know who he pissed off. If it's still like, what's his face?
Because he was like, he was one of the pillars. Like, he's like,
he's been persona non grata like for a year and a half now. Like he shows up like once in a blue moon.
I follow him on Facebook. I don't know if might be his page, but he actually posts a lot there, and like he was posting stuff the other day. It was cute. He was teaching his his daughter to do swanton bombs in the hotel room on the bed, and then I was like, damn, this guy. I was like, it reminded me. I was like, this guy's like really good, and he's got a good personality and stuff. I was like, they could really use him right now.
Yeah,
because he's a guy that you can use like anywhere in the card, not like a low end guy, but he's good for all like the mid card titles. And he's also, a viable guy to use in main events.
Right. Love the new women's tag champs. I think they're great. It was the perfect time for Willow and Harley to drop the belts because they had their run. I know, but I mean, they were over, and I didn't mind them. I mean, it was. I can see how people would, but they were over, and it was fine. That's for your first team. If you want a babyface team, I get it. But those. I don't know the Australian girl's name. I already forgot, but the other girl with the I don't know what their team name is now. What is it?
Something Bane, right?
Yeah, but I mean the team name. I'm forgetting it, but
like
they're great. They should keep the titles for a while. They're believable, and to be honest, I hate it for what was the Kip Sabian's girl, the one that was with Bane. But she got hurt twice doing the moonsault. Newsflash: off the top, off to the outside. Don't do it anymore. I think this team is a lot better. It's like Twin Towers.
As soon as I saw the Bane, I was like, she has like such a superstar look to her. Megan Bane, yeah, she's awesome.
And the other girl,
the other
she's
really
so new, but they're both about the same size. It's perfect. I mean, she can come back and still like be the outside, you know.
Yeah, like the valet who's still,
Penelope
you know, if
Ford,
they do a
that's her name.
trios match or something. Yeah.
Penelope Ford is the girl
Penelope,
that keeps
okay,
getting
yeah.
hurt. Kip's girl. But yeah, keep them together. And of course, Tekla. I've loved Tekla since
Yeah,
the day
me
I,
too.
you know, Jump Street. I think the Triangle Madness is a great thing. I would keep the belt on her for a while. I mean, since you don't have Tony Storm, I don't know if she's
Yeah,
pregnant.
and I think that just strengthens the title when you actually finally do like Tony Storm or whoever. You know, she keeps the belt for a long time, and then you either bring back Tony Storm, or if somehow the you know, the dentist would come back, or you know, or you know, what's her name, the CEO, you know, one of the top women come back,
Yeah.
then they feud with her.
But I mean, the only thing about Tekla, and you used to say this about MJF, and you have to admit MJF's done he's so good as a heel. I was kind of with you at one point, turn him babyface, but he's got the crowd hating him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not many people can do that when the fans love them so much. It's hard for them to turn baby.
But he's done
turn
it.
heel. Yeah, yeah. He can really do it, which is hard.
And
Well,
when he wants to go face,
I do think that's a plus of Darby being champ too, because it's very hard to boo Darby.
but I think on that note, Tekla, she keeps saying, you know, you bitches and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
She's going to turn into a face if she hasn't
Yeah, I
already.
agree. It was really funny a few weeks ago. She was doing that, and there were these little kids standing right next to her. And I was really laughing. Yeah.
Her promos, I like them. Her English, I mean, it's pretty good, you know, but she has a little bit of an accent.
Yeah,
but
it works though on some level because of the charisma, and she has this confidence. I think that comes through. So.
And she has to, because I mean she's so freaking small. I mean she's smaller than Mercedes.
Yeah, and you don't
Moné.
think of it, I don't think either, where like Alexa Bliss, it's like kind of hard for me to buy, like when she does moves, you know.
Yeah, because I mean you think Spear with that little girl, you know, what the hell? But
yeah,
you know she pulls it off. And the only other thing, because I haven't been I didn't get to talk about because I ordered that pay-per-view. What was that last AEW pay-per-view called?
Was it Dynasty?
Dynasty, yeah. My biggest complaint about that, they let the one Canadian. I didn't expect Kenny to win. They said a good match. That's fine. I know Kyle O'Reilly won, and you know, sucks his dad passed away and everything. So, and it was his hometown, so they let him get the win for the conglomeration. But to me, you missed the boat with I call them, you know, whatever, Cope, Edge, and Christian.
Yeah.
You're in Canada. Let them beat FTR.
Yeah, that's the place to do it. And then you could have FTR beat them and win the belts back, and then do the third match.
Because it feels like they're going to do it at Double or Nothing, and it'll get a pop. But it's like, why didn't you just do it at?
Yeah, it'd get a superstar
Canada?
pop, and like, you know, the crowd would have loved it. Then they'd want to come back the next time too.
Love what they're doing with Christian. Keep him the asshole. Perfect use. You know, he's still. You know,
because originally I was against putting the team back together. I'm like, oh, it's a step back, but it was actually really smart how they've done it, because they're back together as like they are today. You know.
I mean, he threatened to like hit Renee for God's sakes on 1 week, and Edge or Adam Copeland. I just call him Edge. He's like, "Hey man, it's Renee. Relax." You know. And he just got that scowl on his face.
Because I was like pretty bored with Edge too, but I like, you know, I can't say I love him, but I like him with Christian. It's
the feud's great. I'm sure they'll have a good match. There'll be a lot of smoke and mirrors, but you got to think the last time Cope Edge did what was it like? What was that match they did? What's their big Hell in the Cell match?
the
Stairway to Hell?
The cage one.
No, it's something blood, right?
Blood and Guts.
Blood and Guts. Remember, he got hurt like at that.
Yeah, because he
Black
dropped the
thing.
elbow like off. Yeah.
When there's a match like that, you know, it's that street fight. I quit. Somebody might get hurt. So
yeah,
if you're gonna put the belt on them, you know, you better hurry because their time's short. He's due for another injury.
Edge makes more comebacks than he,
because it's just he's injury prone.
Yeah,
he's gonna get hurt. He had it was because he came off the top rope, right, in that blood and guts
top
match.
of the cage.
Yeah, the top of the cage.
Yeah,
I think he just let the moment get him.
It's not worth the pop.
No, he's like thinking you're 30 again, and the crowd's into it and stuff. You know.
Yeah, because Christian ain't doing that shit. He's a smarter worker than that. So, But,
I get it. I get it getting like caught up in it. But yeah, you got to stay away from it.
Yeah. But
I do like it when the older guys, you could tell like they enjoy being somewhere again.
Yeah.
Like, it's clear like people, I know Cornette would always say about it was all about money with Sting, and I always thought like that's like one of the last guys I think I would say that about, because I'm sure he wanted the money. I'm not saying he'd go out there for free, but it was clear he was having a good time in AEW.
yeah. Oh, I've heard, no doubt. I think Sting, he wasn't going to wrestle like without a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
But the thing is about Sting is, ever since the TNA days, I've heard like he's all like he puts in 100%, because he's earned his money. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Whereas late '90s WCW, I loved Sting. The Crow Sting.
Yeah, but he was very lazy in the ring and stuff. Yeah.
He was kind of resting on that.
Yeah.
But hey, being in the rafters for a year will do that to you.
Yeah. It was like cool to see him, and then the match would start, and you'd be like,
Yeah. So, but that's a whole. I can't believe it's almost been 30 years, but
I know
Hogan killed him that match. He screwed him in that match. He could have put him. He should have put him over strong.
Oh yeah. After that build, it's like one of the greatest builds ever. Then
Hogan did the kick out right at 2 3/4, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, he knew what he was doing. And then the excuse Bischoff, I've heard him tell a story. Oh, well, he wasn't in shape, brother. It's like, whatever. Come on.
Yeah. Let's push the Nasty Boys or something.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go to these questions here. You guys are feel free to answer them as well.
Hi.
Lexar, by the way, tomorrow is a 3-hour Dynamite. Thank you, Lexar. Nashville is put in a bid to host WrestleMania in 2028. Are you intrigued?
It's better than Saudi, I guess.
You know what? Now you mentioned that, Golga. So whenever he asks these or anyone asks me, it's always like, I don't really care where it is. It's unless it's like in Boston or something. What difference does it really make to me? But it does make a difference now. As long as it's on Saudi Arabia, sure, I'm intrigued. I don't want to see shows from Saudi Arabia.
I don't know if this has anything to do with Roman Reigns not being on the next, after this week's show. Apparently he's out for all of June in the build up to the Saudi Night of Champions. Mm-hmm. Smart man. I wouldn't be going over there right now.
No.
You're
I wouldn't want to be there
soft
anytime, but right now it'd be awful. Yeah.
Fucking unjammable drones and shit. It ain't worth it, man. It's like, we're going forward. It's like, okay, I'll be curious to see if Tripp shows up. That confident.
It was really weird. I mentioned this on the show last time. Was Triple H re-signed a new contract, and that's weird to me because in my mind it's like, well, he doesn't have to sign a contract. He
does,
but he does now. And it's like, well, it does put a different perspective on WWE. It's like this is no longer just owned by these people.
Yep.
The McMahons or anybody, they can be gone, which is a weird thing to think about.
Well, the thing is, I'm sure Stephanie's set unless somehow Vince has fucked her over and
who knows? Yeah.
But maybe he.
If things like actually would not just slip, but if things would get bad, like the ratings would actually do bad, or like houses like really drop off, then I could see something happening.
Yeah. The thing about him though is I think once if that happens, he's set. It ain't like he has to scrounge for another job. Like these.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It would be weird to me. Like WWE would be run by somebody that's not connected at all to the McMahons at some point. Yeah. It's very odd.
Because I heard Dusty needed the money. He wasn't.
Yeah.
So he had to go to TNA and stuff. Because I put him on the same kind of level. He was a booker. That's essentially what Triple H is. You can call it whatever you want, creative.
Because I do think if that ever happens and WWE is completely run by people that aren't in wrestling at all, because then I think it starts to go down the list. It's like, because now if you have someone so embedded in wrestling, all the producers and stuff are wrestling people. But if it was run by just like a corporation, then I think down the then you can start getting rid of all the road. I know Road Dogg's not there now, but those kind of people. And then I think that's bad for wrestling. You can have other people, but I think you need like actual wrestling people in a wrestling company.
Right. Yeah, because I would think HBK would be gone if Triple H.
Yeah,
was,
yeah. I think a lot of those people, Regal and all these different.
Yeah.
Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have left WWE. Thoughts? People know I'm a big New Day fan. They're completely passé at this point in WWE. So, I would love to see them in AEW. You have legit dream matches. You have them versus Young Bucks. You have them versus FTR. If Cope and Christian, that's another potential. Just those three feuds alone. I mean, I guess you could even put like the Hurt Syndicate in there, but that's stuff I would really like to see, and I think actually a lot of fans would like to see.
Yeah, I read that some quotes from that Lashley interview he did, and I guess besides the matches, he also kind of alluded to the fact that he wouldn't mind seeing him in the actual faction, the Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I could see it. Why
because you had a little bit of a comedy element to them.
Because they need some more guys.
Yeah, and they're super like serious at the moment. So if you had a little like a couple jovial guys in the group, it works. Yeah, I would like that. I'm always been a huge fan, and like that is the problem when you have like one company is people get no matter how good they are, you get tired of them.
Yeah.
Like I can't really think of anything negative about Randy Orton. He's great, but at the same time, like it's hard for me to get excited for him just because I've seen him forever. And he's basically the same guy.
Oh, I can say something negative about him because Heady's always voted him like most boring. I'm talking about in the ring. His matches always bore me. You talk about Okada. I mean, he goes Roadrunner speed compared to Orton. Slow it down, Randy.
I mean, honestly, I probably can't really pick too many Randy Orton matches. I'd be like, I'm sure there are like way back in the day, but nothing in the last like 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tonga Loa and Jeff Cobb also gone from WWE. I don't really care about Tonga Loa. I do think Jeff Cobb was like.
I liked him in Ring of Honor, and I think he'd be another great guy. I know he was in AEW, like
just briefly.
He was because when he was with New Japan, he would come in for Forbidden Door stuff. He's a guy. He'd be great for something like the Ops or something.
Yeah, him with Joe and the Ops. Yeah,
yep.
Never used it well at all in WWE.
I barely saw him in WWE.
Me neither, because I only watch a pay-per-view, so I don't think I might have never saw him. But I knew they gave him like a real whacked-out name.
Because I think he was on SmackDown a lot, and I rarely watch SmackDown. Yeah. I'll give it more of a chance when they go to 2 hours, but fuck that 3-hour shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave Dynamite a pass because this Saturday they had to cut an hour,
right,
because of the backlash.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Despite their recent release of superstars and office employees, there's more releases coming. Are you worried? I mean, I'm not employed by WWE, so I'm not worried. But look, they're $1 billion company, and they fire guys that really their contract is like a few cents, like the normal people. I'm going to say this across the board. I think if you sign a contract, unless you breach the contract, both sides should honor that contract. Otherwise, what is the point? So if you sign a 3-year contract with WWE, but they could fire you at any point, that contract really is worthless to you. So I don't like that. I think they should pay you the contract that you signed.
That's one thing about Tony Khan. He honors the contracts. Now, you could say he holds people, I
don't like that either, but yeah.
But hey, it's better than, to me,
if you're gonna do that, but you also honor the contract and pay the people, then I can see that.
Yeah.
But the other ones, they're doing both. They're like, you must stay here and honor our contract, but we can fire you at any time because your contract means nothing to us. So.
Yeah.
AJ Lee, and honestly, anybody out there, regardless of what political affiliation or whatever, you should be against that idea. I think you should be for the rights of employees. AJ Lee run in WWE has come to an end for now. Your thoughts?
Who was that?
AJ Lee. Wow. I didn't know.
I don't think she's really gone. I think maybe she's just going to take a break.
Yeah. I did think it was like I always liked her, but I thought it was so weird when she came back and they were people really acting like she was like the like Ric Flair had come back or like the greatest wrestler that's ever lived has come back.
Well, that's what happens when you're not a big star, but she was for a woman's wrestler. She was gone for a long
during an
time.
era when there wasn't really. I think a lot of the women from that era aren't that great compared to like the women today.
Yeah.
A pair of Hulk Hogan boots worn in the 1990 Royal Rumble have been sold to close to $1 million. Oh, that's pretty cool. Maybe anybody out there want a Macho Man hat from WrestleMania 9? I will if you super chat me $1 million right now. I will we'll part with it. Nick, I did look this up and like other. They weren't WrestleMania hats, but other hats from that era have gone for like, it was like 9,000 or more. So I was like, it's a cool hat, but I'd be willing to part with it. Nick Hogan, son of the Hulkster, is looking for wrestling schools for training. Look, dude. Nick Hogan, if you're watching this, in 2026, you don't have to look very hard for a wrestling school. There's a plethora of them. You're connected to wrestling, so probably everybody would train you. He's got to be pushing 40. So if you ever were really serious about this, you would have done it by now. So I don't foresee him ever doing anything in wrestling.
No, he's not going to do it.
No. If you wanted to do it by now,
he's not serious about it.
Yeah.
He's too small too, by the way. If he's going to have the Hogan name, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. Because today you don't have to be a giant, but if you were Hulk Hogan's kid and he came out there and you were like, yeah,
he's just looking to probably get some money because really Hulkster didn't have that much as we all thought.
Right. NWA Power is now airing on Comet. Friday nights at 10 p.m. Oh, you just brought this up. All right. Yeah, I have a comment on my cable, so. I think
it's actually
the app too, right?
Maybe, but it's actually a free over-the-air channel. I mean, it's a part of cable too, but if you just had like a regular antenna, whatever, digital box.
They used to send me stuff for giveaways on Without Your Head because when they first started, they did a lot of like old sci-fi movies and horror stuff.
Yeah, give it a shot. I mean, I'm going to keep watching it. I mean, it's just an hour. It's kind of a throwback.
Yeah, that sounds fun. It'd be fun to watch some more stuff to talk about on the show.
They're doing the Crockett Cup right now, it looks like.
Oh, really? So okay, I'd like that.
That's the first episode they just did like a couple of rounds of the beginning of the Crockett Cup. So
I'm friends with Trevor Murdoch on Facebook. Maybe I'll hit him up, see if he'd want to come on the show and talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Where am I? Tony Khan claims that dirt sheets help wrestling more than hurts it. You know what? At this point in time, I mean, I think we're past the idea of like the dirt sheets are hurting wrestling. So, I mean, the dirt sheet, even the term is kind of like dumb. Like, the internet is way bigger than the dirt sheets. The internet is the dirt sheets. Devon says that he almost died after suffering a stroke. Well, probably. He also admitted that he took steroids during his TNA run. I mean, I think most people are honest or probably would say things like this, Billy Gunn says he plans on wrestling till he's 70. Cool. I've liked Billy Gunn more the last 5 years than I ever liked him, so.
And he's been taking steroids since the 90s.
Yeah, and he's fine. I do, I'll say, I honestly do think this. I don't think it's just steroids. I think the guys who did a lot of steroids and a lot of, coke and other drugs it's a bad combination. Because the steroids enlarge your organs, including your heart, and then you take other things that speed up your heart. And I think that's been the bad.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, Billy Gunn's a genetic freak, and obviously
it also comes down to that too. Yeah.
But I mean, he definitely has some help. He doesn't look like that at his age.
Oh, yeah.
Without some assistance,
Yeah.
but still, he puts
Yeah.
in the work. You can tell.
Yeah, that's the thing with people like just it's all relative because like almost everyone we used to watch were on steroids, but some were just kind of like barrel chested guys or something. So like would Lex Luger look like Cactus Jack if he didn't take steroids? No, he still would have been a Jack guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he wouldn't look
just,
nearly as good as he did.
No, exactly. Because we did see him when he was clean as a narcissist, and he was still jacked. He's just thinner.
Yep.
Pop star singer Shakira has performed in front of more than 2 million people at a free concert.
Bullshit question.
Yeah, who cares? What year is this anyway? Shakira? She's like still alive?
Sorry, if there was wrestling involved in that question, I apologize, but it sounded like a bullshit question to me.
It was. Which song and artist is playing in your head right now? Dude, I don't know. The Demolition theme. Some of these, I think I will just skip some of these. Like, sorry. I mean, like, do you hate delays? Who's going to be like, I love when things are delayed? Like, what is like, you don't have to ask, like, sorry, I love you, but you don't have to ask every question that pops in your mind. Here we go. It's a wrestling question. The Rock showed up at the Met Gala in New York last Monday. Are you intrigued? I saw he was wearing like a skirt or something.
The only thing I saw from that is the Heidi Klum thing, where she dressed like a statue. I think that's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Like she looked like the Statue of Liberty or whatever.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. What's your favorite documentary? If we're gonna say wrestling, it's either Beyond the Mat, probably Beyond the Mat for wrestling. But although, honestly, like all the stuff on Vice have been good. Yeah, I'd say Beyond the Mat.
Yeah, I was wondering what was up with that, but then I saw the announcement they're just going to be in July. Usually, they've already started the new seasons.
Yeah, they did contact me about like who was about like months ago, and so I sent them some stuff. So I don't know if any of it's used or not. So. Because it did come up on the show. What happened was it came up on the show that they were doing a Buck Zumhoff episode. So I have a contact with them, and so I emailed them, and they're like, "No, that's not true." And then they sent me a list of all the ones they were working on, and so some of the stuff. I know people may have told stories, but there's a couple people that we've done like long interviews with. So.
Yeah.
And probably shouldn't say this. The last time though, they did pay a pretty good fee for using like 10 seconds. So part of me is like, you can use all this, but the thing with
paid you, so good job.
What was that?
I said I didn't even think they would have paid you, so good job.
Yeah, they did, and that's cool of them too. It wasn't like just take this. The thing about the Buck Zumhoff one is, I believe it's not been deleted, but I believe it's private on the YouTube. So I would send it to them if they wanted it. I have a couple, or maybe just one, I think, on Without Your Head that's been privated, because it gets very negative comments. But when I interviewed, it was a guy from Eternal Living Dead.
You talking about the black guy?
No. The thing is, it's common knowledge now that he was arrested for molesting children, but no one knew this at the time. And the thing is, and people act like everyone knew it, and I'm like, no one knew this because he was a regular at conventions, like when I was really heavy into them. And then once people found out, then he's been blackballed. Brian Peck, Scuzz from Return of the Living Dead, and so
okay.
And so like that gets like super negative reviews, and it was even used in a documentary, and they used my banner, and I'm like, you don't need to use my banner that says "without your head" when you're talking about this, this pedophile. Like here's a picture of him without your heads, bro. Like what the hell?
They might as well. The only thing worse would be that is like they put you on there, a still photo of you with a NAMBLA shirt.
yeah.
For those folks who don't get that reference, Google it, kids.
That's our big sponsor. This show's brought to you by NAMBLA.
This is so fucked up. There used to be a guy that I worked with, but he was remote, so I never saw him. But he pissed me off all the time. So I would tell other people like, "Yeah, he's just mad because he's late for his NAMBLA meeting." I shouldn't have done that. And for years, and people would laugh, and then I found out years later nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about. I explained it. They're like, "Oh shit, you really didn't like him."
There's a great episode of Mr. Show. If you ever watch, it's my favorite like sketch comedy, and they have like an award show for like advertising, and one of them's like an advertisement for NAMBLA. Yeah. It's like it's that.
I think you got to be a certain age to get that reference. I remember hearing that like in the 90s. Like
it's not really referenced anymore because it was like maybe it still exists, but it was like a thing there for a while where like they're trying to like You would think just even being part of that, you'd just be arrested at some point.
Yeah.
Where are we? What's your favorite foreign documentary? I don't know, honestly.
No idea.
How much money did you win in the last scratch-off lottery ticket? I won $100. I don't buy them as much as I used to, so I haven't won anything really big lately. How long can you hold your pee and... Okay, Lexar.
Not as long as I used to, Lexar.
Yeah, as you get older, Lexar, things are... Now you got to get up when you're sleeping. It's like, I got to get up and pee. Lexar, do you chop trees with the edge of your hand? I'll give you that one. Lexar is cute. All right. He
chops it with his dangly.
I'm skipping some of these, Lexar. I'm sorry. Here we go. My mom, this is not wrestling, but we'll ask this. My mom is kind of upset because she won't be able to fit, I guess she meant fly to Ecuador for summer again this year. I told her we can find cheap airline tickets for the trip. Can Neil help us find which airline offer cheap prices for international flights? If you really do want help with that, I mean, if you have Google, but I know maybe you don't have internet, Lexar, so I'll look that up for you, I guess. I don't mind doing that. This is a real thing I'm throwing out there. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, Lexar. But if your mom only has like a green card or something, I'd be very careful about flying out of the country currently. I don't know, getting back into the country might be difficult. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. She's not like a citizen. Spirit Airlines will be shutting down. What's your favorite memories of flying? Fuck, Spirit sucked, dude. I fly the first time when it first came around. I remember we got tickets to go to I think it was Texas, and I was like, damn, these flights are like $80. And then like we got there and like they even charged to carry on your luggage.
Oh yeah.
And it was like $100, and I was like, "That's more than the flight." And she just kind of nodded her head. I was like,
I never flew Spirit because the few times I fly, I've only flown a very small amount of times in my life. I want it to be something decent, so I've always gone with Delta. But yeah, the only the thing about Spirit I also heard is there's no in-flight snacks or nothing.
No, you got to pay for everything. So you think you're saving money, but you end up spending more than if you just get some other flight. So
if you're a cheap fuck, and if you don't want any snacks or anything, you get what you pay for. If you want a cheap flight,
yeah, exactly. Especially if you're doing like a short flight. Like if I'm flying across the country, I don't want that. But if it's like an hour, if you're doing like a short flight, I don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When I was traveling with Michael and Sophia for our movie, when we went to, I don't know what it was. It might have been Virginia. And so what happened was I flew to LA. We did some stuff out there, and then we flew to Virginia, and we screened the movie there. Then I flew from Virginia back to Boston, and they had booked a flight, and they got Spirit, but the only thing was you can't bring stuff through once you pass security, then you can buy stuff. So it's once you do that, you actually buy some snacks in the airport and just bring with you. You know what I mean? So you're prepared.
Yeah.
But they do stink though. To be honest, it's especially like I like to check my bag usually, and it costs a fortune with Spirit. And then usually it's free to do carry on, but not with Spirit.
Well, it makes sense for their business because if I equate it to like a movie theater. Ticket might be cheap, but then they're going to gouge you on concessions.
Yeah. But I do travel a lot, so the idea of spending less on the travel is always good. Brian Matthew Cluttar, any memories of Ted Turner's involvement in wrestling? Yeah, we went over that, but thank you, Brian. Now I watched this earlier. I was very we're going to share this here in 1 second. Let me get ready. And this is a big thank you to Brian. This is very amazing. While I get this ready, hold on 1 second. This was from Brian Matthew Clutter. He said he can't believe it that they're now covering In Your Head news. So here we go.
Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, a Wrestling Observer Live. A very big weekend of news. Before we get into all of that, I actually have breaking news here on the show. Incher. You guys know Incher? Incher is leaving the IYH podcast. After enduring his co-host's
that's me.
antics literally for years. He could endure these antics no more. And now, Neal must barrel on through, in fact, as the solo host of this podcast. News broke about this story on the internet a few days ago. There was a lot of WV. But now that things have calmed down a little bit, so to speak, the big question remains, will he ever return? I'd like to give you the answer, but I don't know. The answer to that question may not even be known by Incher. But one thing is for sure. When he does return, if he does return, well, hopefully I'll have that breaking news here on Wrestling Observer Live.
Wow.
So all the best to Incher. All the best to Neal. I'd say he has big shoes to fill, but I think we all know better. And all the best to you listeners as well. It's going to be all right. Because someday, Incher may return. But for now, like me, he will talk to you again after a while.
Was he pausing because he needed to hit a certain amount of time for the cameo?
I kind of wish the cameo thing, the cameo logo doesn't pop up in these things.
I thought you were going to go nuts about that wheel he had in the background. He stole your shit, your prize wheel.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, that's the first thing I noticed. I thought that was one of the.
Damn, I brought the prize wheel back on Without Your Head recently.
For the record, I want Incher back. So if you're out there, Incher, love you, man. Hope you come back.
Yeah. Stop being a bitch. Don't be the OI bitch. Be the OIB.
We
He's
can put a
welcome back.
kibosh to the AI videos. We can make that. We can go. We can pick on Lexar or something. Fuck, pick on me.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
we need a new whipping boy for.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can have stuff coming out all my orifices. Just come back. Make me the whipping boy. I don't care. But yeah. Do you think he actually remembers being on the show? Because that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was wondering that when I was watching that because
my guess is no.
Yeah. The other thing I did think was I always emailed him as Jack. So,
Yeah.
but we are Facebook friends, and I've interacted with him over the years. Just not that long ago when I was talking to him about diverticulitis. Just with, I guess it was a little while ago, like when Kenny came back. I was telling him.
I firmly believe that Tony Khan at one time was a listener to In Your Head.
I
Because
could
you
see
guys,
because
I mean,
we would have, it was big on the message boards.
and he he consumed everything.
Yeah,
And y'all were, I mean, what do you got? Like Wrestling Observer Live, and then The Law. You guys were like for real internet radio, because I remember guys used to call some of your older guests were like, so what station y'all on, because they actually thought you were on the fucking radio.
Yeah.
And you weren't. They didn't really understand because there was no podcast. I mean, we've been over that before. That term didn't exist. So I guarantee Tony, especially if it was a guest that he was interested in, so I always thought, man,
so a part of the reason it wasn't just like this gimmick thing of Intro leaving. There is that is part of it. Like I was like, well, there's no Jack without Intro, but I had thought about using the Nasty Neal name on all the shows so when I started doing these Dabbleverse shows, when they found out about In Your Head, a lot of them were In Your Head fans, but they didn't put together that I was the same guy because they knew me as Nasty Neal. Yeah. And so I thought I've been told this before about using like the same name on all the stuff for branding purposes. So part of that is why I want to just use Nasty Neal on everything. But that is weird. It was funny though. There's been several people in the Dabbleverse world. They're like, "Wait, that's you?" And like, yeah. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I've always." They were just fans of In Your Head, but they didn't realize the same person. Because it was like they'd listen to a lot of the older interviews, and they were all video, not audio.
Yep.
Or audio, not video.
Oh, right, yeah.
I might play a clip of I don't know. We'll leave Dabbleverse stuff alone. But so I will say, Stuttering John quit the internet again. I think this is the third or fourth time in the last 2 years. But he did go off on me recently before he left because he found out that I was gonna meet a girl in the Dabbleverse that he was trying to date for the last 4 years. And then when he found out we were meeting up, he was not very happy. He's not very happy, to say the least.
Well, Miss Destiny's pretty popular.
We had a great weekend actually together. So.
Yep.
And now it's Facebook official. So,
she wants to help you with your curtains and shit. Your duvet.
When Tony Schiavone and Lee Marshall used to say, "Call your friends," and this is like Nikhil. When Tony Schiavone and Lee Marshall used to say, "Call your friends and tell them we got Kevin Nash for Stevie Ray later on tonight," did you ever do it? No.
Only thing I remember about Lee Marshall is the 1-800 collect report.
Yeah.
And he would make a real cheesy weasel joke.
Yeah.
That's all I remember him from WCW.
We're going to be in Boston where they have, Boston baked weasel or just something like so shoehorned in that it was just bad.
Yep. Welcome to 10 years ago.
Then I tried to get him. I tried to get him on the show. I remember
he passed away a while ago, didn't he?
Yeah. But this was early on and In Your Head, and he was like super very arrogant when I was interacting with him. I was like, Jesus, who the hell does this guy think he is?
Wow. I just would have assumed he'd be a real nice guy.
Yeah, no, he was not at all. That's why it never happened. And this was back in the day. Like, now if someone's like that, I just like, fuck it. I don't care.
Did you say my name is jacking off? Maybe that had something to do with it.
Actually, honestly, all the guests we've had on recently have extremely enjoyed the show and reached out to me since then, and want to keep coming on. Like Max Payne one, we have a 6-hour show planned in the making. Last week's guest, Dusty Wolf, had a great time. Said it was probably like his best show. And then the first guy we had on, Sahadi, he wants to be like a regular.
Yeah, I watched the Sahadi one. That was pretty good. Although
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, I sorry, I didn't, I loved the interview, but when he started talking about the Fox Nation, the real American wrestling,
Yeah.
like, it's like the number one thing on Twitter. It's like, who gives a fuck? It seems like
It's
a
like
fart.
Speed.
Yeah. I'm not watching that shit. Sorry, man. I know that's what you're here to promote, but I still like the interview. But,
Yeah, I did too. I thought he was a cool guy. Yeah. If you didn't see the new Max Payne one, that was really good. I like that a lot. And we're gonna do the Maxathon, and we're gonna do a 6-hour show from his childhood through his whole career, and he's got a lot of stories he's never told before. Because the last interview was like 3 hours, and it just flew by, honestly.
Oh, I must have missed that one because it was Ahmed Johnson's the one that canceled, right?
Yeah. What happened with him? He wanted money left. This has already been a thing. Is guys will say that they'll come on, and then they'll hit me up for money right before, like
That doesn't surprise me.
No,
especially with people like Hannibal.
Yeah.
Spoiled.
The thing is, I think they should just say it up front, not like wait till it's already advertised.
Yeah.
So Ahmed was the day before, and then Rugged Ron Price, and no offense to the man, but that was the same way. It was like the day of the interview. He wanted money.
I don't even know who that is. Is that like an old territory wrestler?
He used to tag with Steve Austin in Global. It was Rugged Rod and Stunning Steve.
Okay. You could be making that up, but I believe you. Yeah. I've never heard that name before. I
was kind of looking forward to, because I like that kind of thing's fun to me. But the idea of paying him $150, I'm like, come on, man. And then the other one is he asked for it up front, and I just said we don't pay the guests, so that's fine. But it was the Boogie Woogie Man. I was gonna have him on because he's having his retirement match. But he wanted $250.
Well, that's too bad, because I mean, obviously he came on for free back in the day. I remember his
multiple
liners
times,
were classic.
Yeah.
Boogie Feel Good and everything.
Yeah.
I guess again, Hannibal.
Yeah, things have changed. Yeah, it's Hannibal, and anybody out there pays attention. There's a few others. They all pay. So it's completely changed. It's changed the game for everybody. Then
It's too bad. I don't watch Hannibal hardly ever anymore, because you have to pay to go on his show, because he's rotten. I'm sorry. That voice, I know he can't help it, but it's like, it's like Bret Hart's got more charisma. Former stroke victim.
It's too bad, because I always thought it was a good interview, and I think I'm a better interviewer now than I was. These last 3 that we did, I thought were actually really, really good interviews. So I'm going to get people on, but it's too bad it's not the same as it used to be. But I've got some cool people lined up, like Cougar J, and I like those kind of things. Cougar J was he wrestled Great Muta in his first WCW match. He tagged with George South when they lost to the Ding Dong. So he was an enhancement guy in the NWA, but a guy that would beat other enhancement guys and was around a while. He had a trading card back in NWA.
So sort of like the guy I would equate that to is like Italian.
Yeah, like that, or like maybe not quite Sam Houston, but that kind of guy. Where am I here? But I like those kind of interviews. They have a lot of cool stories. Like Dusty Wolf, I thought was a really good interview. If you don't know, it's Dusty Wolf, longtime WWF, jobber, and then they changed his name to Dale Wolf when they hired Dusty Wolf, because they didn't want 2 Dustys in the promotion, which I thought was cool. And there's a lot of stories. Like he was in wrestling for like 25 years.
Yeah, I just got to get used to all these due times for the show because now it's not.
Yeah, I
the
should
same time anymore.
I should be consistent with that and just pick a day. I kind of like doing it earlier, like today. So
Yeah.
I might do Friday's fine for me. Actually, maybe we'll start doing it Fridays at 5 or 6 or something. I like that.
I think after Dynamite's a great time too because it's fresh. But
Yeah.
I understand because I actually thought you were doing it after Dynamite, but I kind of glad you didn't because it was 3 hours. That would have been
my
late
plan
show.
was, and then when I saw it was 3 hours, I'm like, by the time I get ready, it's gonna be 11:30, and then like it's gonna be like 2, after 2, and so
Yeah.
I like it too because it's right after the show. But anybody out there, if you have a preference, like either right after Dynamite or like Friday, early after or late afternoon, early evening, whichever is better, either of those two would probably be best for me. Tuesday,
Or be like Monday Night Mayhem and do it right during Monday Night Raw.
no, yeah, I never really cared for the Tuesday night, and I knew it worked for entrance. That's fine if we had to do that, but
And there's no wrestling except NXT, but I didn't watch that, so
yeah,
Tuesday night was good.
the only
too.
issue for me was it was 6 days after Dynamite.
Yeah.
So like by the time it rolled around, it's kind of like I can't really remember it. And at that time, who cares? But on this first episode of I missed one. The first month Davey Boy Smith was in WCW, he had to wrestle Mongo, Sick Boy, Brian Adams, The Public Enemy, and Conan. What type of evil person? He's going off his face on all sorts of shit, and his knees are shot. Let's see what he can do with these boys. Well, I mean, you got to wrestle. Those are guys that were there. So, I don't know. If you're going to be in wrestling, you have to wrestle the people on the roster.
I'm sure he was getting good money because Eric, that's 98 when Bulldog came in because it was after Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he signed a good contract, more money than he would have made with Vince. And it's not like they were working every day at that point. So, to be honest, they were doing him a favor because he wasn't in condition to perform.
No.
I mean, I was you should have been gaming at this time. I have this game for PlayStation called Warzone, shitty wrestling game.
Yeah, I remember.
And it had like promos, and he's like all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like slurring his words. Feel the wrath of the bulldog.
Yeah. I think I'm partial to Friday. I also think with guests, it'll probably be easier to get a guest on in the late afternoon, early evening instead of like 11 at night. So, I think maybe we'll go with that. I liked it, but I do think if it's a consistent time, it's easier for people to be here. On this first episode of Thunder, due to the slap dash nature of its debut, the set was ready yet. I guess not ready yet. So they shipped in some random stuff from Turner's prop division. What are your memories? I actually never knew that. That's kind of an interesting story, though. That the set was just kind of thrown together at last minute.
Yeah, I do remember that first episode. Like they had a different set. Like the door kind of came apart like that. Like people were manually pulling it. It looked like a stone wall.
Yeah,
it came apart. They never used it again.
I used to like that in WCW Saturday Night when the door would slide open, and some of the guys would do stuff with the smoke, like they would inhale it and blow it out, and different things like that. Looking back, though, honestly, I do think that was not the beginning of the end, but it definitely did start to go down in quality when they added Thunder.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I think that with AEW, I think even though there's been collisions I think adding another show does take away from your product. There's just so much of it. A few weeks after that star-making ladder match with The Undertaker in 2002, Jeff Hardy loses to Johnny the Bull, of all people. Wow, that's messed up. Yeah, I don't remember that. I wonder what he did at this time. Yeah, that's really weird to think about, because I remember that definitely did make Jeff Hardy like a legit top singles guy. And then you would book him to lose to Johnny the Bull. Wow.
Yeah, I have no memory of that, but that sucks.
Me neither. My hot take from the first 3 months of 1999 is that Vince McMahon winning the Rumble was just as bad or worse as the finger poke of doom. I would say it was worse. I actually liked the finger poke of doom. I know people act like it was horrendous, blah, blah, blah. I actually thought storyline-wise it made sense. It was to get the belt back in the group. They were working together. And it was like people took it as a slap in the face, but that's what it was meant to be. It was like a slap in the face to the tradition of the of NWA, to the title, and that was always what like the NWO was about. I thought so. I thought it worked. It was almost like it worked too good in some way, I think, and it actually pissed people off.
Trivia question. You might remember this. Who came up with the phrase finger poke of doom? Do you remember?
I do not know.
I'll give you a hint. Do you remember the name Scott Keith?
Yeah.
It was him.
Really?
He was like a big deal. Like he used to write about wrestling. He wasn't like on a newspaper or anything. He was just pure internet. He had this, and then he came up with his blog of doom. He coined the finger poke of doom in one of his column, and it stuck.
Yeah, I don't remember
Scott Keith. I know you hadn't heard that name in a while.
You stole Stuttering John's girl. He's coming for you now. That could be.
He's coming.
They never met. He. I mean, I could explain this all, but I'm sure a lot of the in your head people don't need to know or care. I know for a fact Khan and Triple H watch AEW because this is like the third year in a row they only fired people who are there. Most certain Tony Khan wouldn't want to hire it. Oh, I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot of names they fired that AEW would pick up.
Yeah, I agree.
R.I.P. Ted Turner, pioneer. Yeah, definitely. Boy, Aleister Black, he must be just hell to deal with. Same thing with Rusev. Because everywhere he goes, like everyone always thinks he's going to be like this big star, and he just, I don't know.
Yeah, apparently.
I was surprised Rusev wasn't on the list, though. Or maybe he will be. But
him and Tony Schiavone are friends, so I don't know. But I have this feeling he's going to be back in AEW.
I hope not. I mean, maybe he'll prove me wrong, like Andrade, but I really don't see it happening.
I mean, as far as an on-air character, because I try to keep the backstage shit separate because that's all hearsay. But he was fine. I'm not the biggest fan. He's believable, but
yeah, I liked him fine too. But I really liked the other two guys better after a while in the group. Like I always thought Buddy needed a better name, but I thought he's better. But I always thought Brody King was way better.
Yeah.
What happened to the hillbilly dude? Oh, he's right here.
I'm from the V, not the W.
I immediately laugh at that. So,
hey Jack, I'm gonna log off because my dog's going nuts.
All right, no problem. I'm gonna finish up these questions and probably take off. But thanks, okay. Go. So I think we're gonna go with Fridays. I think is a good time. But I also might pop up once in a while for an extra show. So, like I might come on after Backlash or something.
Great show.
Thanks, all right, thank you. It's good to see you. A few years back, Brian Myers delivered the best burn ever on the Brett Major Figs podcast. Question: why didn't you run in when Brett got jumped at the Hall of Fame? Myers, my eardrums were popping and couldn't hear because Aleister Black and Ricochet were clapping so loud for Hunter. That's very cute. The Motor City Machine Guns had to go to WWE. They had to try. I'm reading some feel they were fucked over in AEW, but the reality is these guys came from an era where WWE wouldn't look at them. Yeah, you know what? I have no problem with them trying out in WWE. And then if they go to AEW, I mean, even though the run was short, they still won the belts. And you can be like, these are guys who were WWE tag champions, TNA tag champions, and then maybe possibly AEW tag champs. If you have them, and you have New Day, and you have Edge and Christian, and you have FTR, Young Bucks, and some of the other teams there, you have like a legit like some really like dream match stuff for like a year or so run in AEW tag division. The Rock getting paid $1.5 million by TKO for scratching himself, and then did I read these already? I feel like I read these last week. Maybe not. They decide to release a load of people seems unfair, but also happens all the time in wrestling. Yet the Rock thing's weird, though, because it was, 2 years ago? They set him up like he was going to wrestle the next year, and then it never happened. And I don't think it's ever going to happen again. Monday Night Raw debuted in January 1993. The brand split began in March 2002. Raw operated as a single unified show for 9 years before the split. Yeah, I did these. I did these last week. I think you sent in a lot of the same questions, Nikhil. These are the same ones. These last two might be different. No, this last one might be different. Recently released WWE star J.C. Mateo, Jeff Cobb, was originally planned for a big push when he joined the company, but then ended up in his background role for the MFTs instead. Yeah, it's very weird because I thought, because it was kind of like, there was like a bidding, I don't say bidding war, but it was like a real question where he would end up, because he was definitely like one of the top names, free agents or whatever, and people thought he's going to go to AEW, he's going to go to WWE, goes to WWE, you think that alone, like, they get this guy, they're going to do something with him, or at least try, and they really didn't at all. The name was bad. Not that Jeff Cobb's a great name either, so I don't think renaming him is bad, make him a fake Samoan, and look, you can make guys fake Samoans and fake Japanese and Russians like back in the day. Today, it's a little harder to do that because, just wrestling is more open and you have the internet. So it was bizarre. And you had like so many real family members anyway. So I don't really understand the point. But that's a guy I would like to see in AEW. I know they get so many people anyway, but I think he's definitely a top dude. Has the chat frozen? Yeah, it's just getting very cold in here. Brrr. All right, so thank you guys for those questions. Anybody in chat, do you want me to play this Stuttering John clip of him talking about me? Yes or no? If you don't answer in 10 seconds, we're going to take off. 10. But I'll be back next week. We've got some guests lined up. Either be a guest or... Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do the Headies. Better late than never. Headies. We need to get that done. So, but we'll be back. I had a really good time here tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. And join the Facebook group. Follow me wherever. You follow Nasty Neal all different places. But for In Your Head, the main places are the Facebook group. We will have a Discord, and I've been saying this for a while. Hit subscribe. Hit like. Become a member. It starts only $3 a month. And if you become a member, you help support the channel. And who doesn't want to help support In Your Head? Like our dear producers, Brian Matthew Cluttar, Vic Schiavone, and Jonathan Jackson. So without further ado, let me wait a minute. $10, please don't play it. Deal. We will not play Stuttering John clip. No more. You know what, Jonathan Jackson? So Stuttering John has left. And for a while, I had to keep up with this because I'm on like some of these Dabbleverse streams. And then I was like, this is like work trying to watch this bullshit. So I'm really happy that he is gone. So just mention our producers. Let's go over the other fine folks that help support the channel. Your shout outs, my friends, my colleagues. Nate G, Mikey B. I believe Nate G was in the chat earlier. Sorry I didn't shout him out then. Mikey B, Toronto Stevie, Double Guns, Tuesday Booker, Girth Brooks, the VSW, Terry Lynn, Boom Man, Lesnar, Hans Ajuka, Eric Everett, Chaos Theory, Phoenix Turn, $2 Ball Washer, Taylor Jenkins is Dark, Scott Roll, Bold 182, Raider Dre 420, Alexander Arca, and Deadcon Despair. That is our Hall of Famers. And also thanks to all our Headyverse members out there, the $3 tier. But if you join the $5 tier, you get a shout out here every week by Nasty Neal. All right, until next time, this is Nasty Neal. If you have some questions and you're not on Facebook, which I know not a lot of people are, because not everyone is old like me, you can email me at iyhwrestling@gmail.com, and we will answer them here on the show, or join the live chat. Send them in, folks, and I answer most things, unless it's really horrendous. You know what? Let's be honest. If it's horrendous, I'll probably answer too. All right, guys. I had a good time. I hope you did too. And so, good night, everybody. Let's see. Do I have the theme song play? Yes, I do. All right. Playing us out with the old Ron Hex, Andre the Giant tune. And one final shout out to Jonathan Jackson!
Andre the Giant. Andre was big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was not small. No, no, no. Andre could drink and he could fight. Drink, drink, drink. Fight, fight, fight. Andre was big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was not small. No, no, no. Andre could drink and he could fight. Drink, drink, drink. Fight, fight, fight. Andre the Giant. Andre was big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was not small. No, no, no. Andre was great. He was not bad. A great big heart and a great big man. Andre was big, yeah, 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 it was not small, no, 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 Andre could drink, and he could fight, drink, 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 and fight, fight, fight. Andre the Giant.
From Grenoble, France.